Welcome, everyone. Namaste and Sairam. I'm Connie Shaw, and this is my loving and multi-talented husband, Jim Wright.
Well, happy Advent, happy Hanukkah, Holy Christmas, and a joyous New Year.
Now, let's start with a prayer. We thank you, Lord, for all that you're doing to help, bless, heal, and balance each one of us watching. And we ask for special insights, healing, and blessings for all attendees today. We ask for all those watching and for their countries for special protection, warning, and guidance of our guardian angels and of your angelic host. Kindly help us remember to keep our vibrations high and to clear our water and our homes daily, as well as to clear every building and venue that we'll be entering before leaving home each day until this practice is habitual. Help us to keep our hearts open to the extension of your loving compassion toward all that we meet each day. Also, we ask that you increase our capacity to give and to receive love, and sharpen our skills in quick counseling, effective encouragement, and inspiring leadership on all fronts. We declare and decree that this is so, and we thank you. Amen.
Well, we had a very eventful last gazing program on November 5th, 2022. 2 people each received inner messages from the divine.
And then John received the gift of the Spirit of knowledge and wisdom, and thus gave 2 messages to 2 teen boys in his Bible study group in California.
Anne was able to clear herself of fatigue and soreness and to stop an argument in the apartment next to hers via clearing it.
Kevin cleared a neighbor who was having a severe asthma attack. She was intending to drive herself to the emergency room, but through the clearing, that trip was canceled. He also cleared 2 apartment buildings and a meeting before it even happened, so that all of the participants were able to meet amicably and to work out a plan for problem resolution.
About 10 people saw their preceptors or masters and saints during gazing. And we've included pictures of a few new masters in the series, the Masters of Light slideshow, because they were seen by people who attended quantum gazing.
Someone saw the transfiguration of Satya Sai Baba over Jim's form. Also, Jim and Connie worked on someone who had had a stroke and was quite ill, and it was discovered that the man had had a psychic attack. An entity left his body, and the man's arm returned to normal.
Connie's friend asked for help in finding her 2 lost cats, and they were found unharmed 3 hours later.
In our Tai Chi class, a few days later, there were 3 spontaneous healings, including the healing of 2 painful swollen knees and the clearing of a painful wrist from a fracture.
Now let's see, we have the program highlights here for today. First, November clearing results we've already talked about. Understanding God's grace, the importance of changing energy, mastering Raymond Grace's problem package, preventing blowback from other people, assuring successful presentations or performances in advance of giving them, places that you might want to clear on a regular basis before you go to them, converting clearing work into a service or into an income stream, a few all-purpose healing tools, and of course Connie has some teaching stories for you, including her 9/11 story, Raymond Grace's story of the singer and the 16,000 intoxicated Russians, Christmas in India, and the lost years of Jesus. Now is the time to make sure you have pencil and paper to jot down some notes so you can pay attention. You can always obviously watch these videos over later without a problem. We don't diagnose, prescribe, or cure. We're not medical doctors. Viewers are encouraged to seek help from their health caregivers. And this is an educational, inspirational program protected under free speech that's guaranteed by the U.S. Constitution and is never meant to harm or coerce anyone in any way, but only to empower you, the viewers. Raymond Grace says, your energy is your most valuable asset. Avoid people and places that trash it. And I would add that usually you know when you're around people or in places that are taking your energy away, that are trashing your energy.
Now, by the way, if you would like to contact Raymond Grace for a phone clearing or for a daily clearing of your home and family, you can write to him at Raymond, R-A-Y-M-O-N, at raymondgrace.us. That's RAYMONGRACE.us. Everything is energy. And when you can master energy in yourself, others, and your environment, your entire life can become one of bliss, health, balance, effectiveness, and prosperity, meeting all of your needs through God's grace. Now you might ask, what is grace? Grace is to receive the favor, attention, love, protection, and plenty of the Lord. Grace can also mean to move in peace through constant integrated awareness. That is, when we're in a state of grace, we're in the observer state, detached and available to be used by God, and we're in a state of equanimity. He says, if you will be available to me, I will make you capable of miracles. If you will make yourself available, I will make you capable. Now we're going to talk about understanding grace. God's grace can change or soften karma. That is a direct quote from Satya Sai Baba. The other three below are as well. The way to get my grace is to think of me continually. If you don't think of me, I don't think of you. The love of God is the foremost reward to be attained in human life. It's more precious than all the wealth in the world. All wealth and position are obtained by the love and grace of the divine. Now we're going to move to the next part of the program, which is the chart Problem Package Daily Clearing by Raymond Grace. This is on a short video that he has available online. And he says that the Problem Package Daily Clearing is the most important thing that you can do for yourself, your pets, and your loved ones. So you give thanks for neutralizing Raymond's problem package for yourself, family, and home. Then you raise the energy, you scramble the frequencies counterclockwise, and then intend in a clockwise direction. Then you neutralize and remove those energies to another dimension, off planet, where they are transmuted into light. Now then, the negative effects of thought forms in the area are part of the problem package. Secondly, the effects of the Schumann resonance. And then next, the effects of 5G. These are all of the things that we're clearing every day. Next, negativity of gangs, riots, large groups of people, and wars.
So these are all the things that we're removing when we scramble the frequencies counterclockwise and we intend what we want to insert in a positive direction. We neutralize these things that Connie just mentioned, and we remove them.
And then there's another page on that chart too. So we neutralize also and remove radiation, and also CV and attendant negative emotions, any contaminants in food, air, water, and soil, and extreme weather and earth changes such as coronal mass ejections, volcanic eruptions, and earthquakes. Now then, there are some types of places that you might want to clear, And those are schools, churches, grocery store, clinics, hospitals before visiting. And then why don't we all alternate reading, Jim? So you can read restaurants,
Restaurants,
sites of accidents,
government offices,
airports, train and bus stations,
senior centers, gyms, rec centers,
electromagnetic frequencies, also radon, astrological influences on your garden or your land, radios, and TVs.
and mood swings.
All right? Now then, you can also, as we said, work on places where there have been frequent auto accidents because there might be a noxious energy zone there that is creating the same types of accidents over and over. It will make a big difference. Now then, we're going to talk about blowback. We have a chart on preventing blowback.
Yes, presumably we do. Oh,
All right.
well, why don't you just talk about blowback?
All right. Blowback or uploading is when a person works energetically on someone else or even a group, and the trapped energies from this lifetime and other lifetimes can suddenly release and affect the healthcare practitioner or the dowser. This can be very startling, and it can also have negative effects on the so-called healer. So in order to prevent blowback or offloading or uploading of clients and audiences, then one needs to do the clearing on the audience before one leaves home. Or if it's in a situation now where we're doing this program live streaming online, then we have already cleared all of you, all of your homes, and all of the water entering your homes before we even started this program. Now, I was talking to Raymond James last week, and he was telling me about a singer that he knows who does international performances. She often sings in Europe and in Russia. And the first time he ever worked with her, she called and asked if he could do a clearing on the audience before she came on stage to sing, because she was going to be singing in Russia, and the people there would get very rambunctious and they would have a few drinks before the performance started, and then by the time the performers or singers or dancers would come on stage, they would be intoxicated, and sometimes they would throw bottles on the stage, they would get rowdy, they would swear, and it was very unnerving as well as dangerous. So he said yes, he'd be very happy to do that. Well, he cleared the audience before she sang, and she later told him that it was the most successful performance that she'd ever had, that the audience were quite respectful, that they did not throw anything or make any rude noises, and they absolutely loved her, and she had never felt so warmly welcomed or so well treated in her life. Now, this works with giving presentations in the way of talks to various groups or any kind of performance. You can assure its success before you even make the presentation or the performance. Now we're going to talk about all-purpose healing tools. All right. First of all, you yourself are the instrument. You are the best tool because God can work through you. Secondly, if you have a pendulum, you can bring that or use that. And there are many, many classes online, free of charge, that will show you how to learn to dowse using a pendulum or your mind or your hands. Now also, for Sai Baba devotees, some of your very dependable all-purpose healing tools would be the Sai Baba Golden Lingam photo, which is available online. And if you laminate that and keep a small one in your wallet or purse, you'll always have it available if you run into an emergency. Secondly, lingam water, and that is water in which an egg-shaped lingam is kept, can charge the water with healing capacities. Then Sai Baba's sacred healing ash has resurrected many people and has brought people out of comas. Then Catholics Your rosary is something that you have used a lot. It has your vibrations on it. And also, holy water is something that you might want to bring in a small bottle whenever you go out. Then, also, evangelical Christians are usually quite attached to their Bible, and they can use it in a variety of circumstances if they need to read it to someone who is ill or dying, or if they want to encourage themselves or get inspiration before they go to visit someone. And now then, and we would like to say that the healing tools are not of themselves powerful. They are inert objects, but the power that accrues to them is the meaning, the vibration, the repetitive use that you yourself have given the tools. So it's whatever object is important to you and has meaning to you. Now then, Wayne Dyer has always said, be realistic, expect miracles. Absolutely, expect miracles. They're happening all around us every day. Now then, we're going to be showing the Masters of Light slideshow, and we've added 4 new masters, as Jim said, which you'll see shortly.
So now, if you would please place your feet flat on the floor. If you're sitting in a chair or on a sofa or something like that, it's off the floor. If you have your legs crossed on the floor, that's just fine. And then if you would please put your hands face up in a receptive position, down on your legs or your knees or in your lap, whatever is most comfortable. And let's all get 3 or 4 wishes or prayers or intentions that we might have for things that would improve our lives or the lives of our loved ones, or things that would be good if we got rid of them in our lives or in the lives of our loved ones. Get 3 or 4 things very, very clearly in your minds. We'll just take a moment to do that. They can have to do with anything at all. And when you're gazing, allow your mind to go blank. Let your thinking stop. Let all those thoughts drain out so that there are no thoughts in your mind, just like you're in a nice deep meditation. Just looking at the screen with almost an unfocused look. Not trying to transfer any energy from us back to you or vice versa. And of course, if you've been doing this with us for a while, you know we always do a breathing exercise with our consciousness and our heart center before we do gazing. So let's do that together now. Let's all breathe in deeply, raise your shoulders up towards your ears, and now breathe out as you imagine your consciousness dropping down into your heart center right in the middle of your chest, and you notice how it feels at the end of your out breath when your consciousness reaches your heart. Very special feeling for each one of you, a very special place to have your consciousness. Let's do that again. Let's breathe in deeply, shoulders up toward your ears, big breath out, consciousness down into your heart center. Noticing that feeling. One last time, let's breathe in deeply, shoulders up toward your ears, big breath out, consciousness down into your heart center. Now imagine your consciousness expanding out into the universe, connecting with all that is, and going out even farther, where it encounters your idea of the feeling of love, what love really is. It's out there, and it's inside you, and in every person. Let it wrap around you. Let you and your consciousness and love totally intertwine. See that, feel it.
Clock.
And now come back. This is a time where if you have photos to put up of loved ones, you can do that. You can put them up in front of you, or you may have them laid out in front of where you're sitting, and that's just fine. It's a very powerful thing to do, to have loved ones attend gazing via their photos. So now we'll begin.
Thank you. Now, in conclusion, we'd like to tell you two stories, one about Christmas in India and the other about the so-called lost years of Jesus. I'd like to tell you about one of the many Christmas seasons that we spent in India at the Abode of Highest Peace ashram. The wonderful Italian devotees came every year and could sing beautifully. They could cook exquisite meals, and they were the best decorators in the world. Every year, they brought a huge, hand-carved, priceless wooden nativity scene that was life-size, that depicted Blessed Mother Mary, baby Jesus, Saint Joseph, and the three wise men, reminding us of the true reason for Christmas. The choir, which was an international choir, would sing like angels, and Baba would give a divine discourse. The discourse that I remember the most was when he said that when Martin Luther and the Protestants, he called them, the ones who protested, reformed the church, they mistakenly threw out the baby with the bathwater. That is, he said, they discarded reverence for Mother Mary, the Divine Mother aspect of God. They also tossed out the reverence for the saints, our elder brothers and sisters, East and West. The saints, Baba said, are examples not only of heroes, but also of self-realized beings who have overcome the world, as we must eventually. Then Baba said the most astounding thing. He said that when I created Jesus and Mary, I gave each one of them 1/3 of my divine power and energy, and I kept 1/3 for myself, the father of Jesus and Mary. Now, as I've said before, God sent me to Little Tibet, now North India, to meet with the monks in one of 11 ancient monasteries that I visited on foot. The Buddhist monks warmly invited me in, and when I said that I was looking for God on earth, someone more powerful than Lord Buddha or than Jesus, they immediately brought out a wooden box covered in a red silk scarf of 2,000-year-old manuscripts revealing the entire life of Jesus. They told me that Jesus had spent his so-called lost years in the very place where I was standing. For years he had studied with Mahayana Buddhist monks, learning to resurrect, to manifest, to transmute, to levitate, and to bilocate. At that time, that particular lamasery was the center of a 25,000-strong monastery where people from all over Asia would come to study with the highest teachers and self-realized beings. The monks then told me that no other, quote, white eyes, end quote, had been allowed to touch those manuscripts which had survived fire, flood, plague, war, and invasion. Well, I was astonished, and as it turns out, a few other people in history have seen those manuscripts who were Westerners. But I asked them, but why would you show them to me, a simple American woman, I asked. Because we can see that you love God, and you have gone to great trouble to find him, and that he is going to bring you to him. He's living in South India in a male body that is 55 years old, and before long, you'll meet him in person. We must remain here due to our monastic vows. Otherwise, we would go with you. As it turned out, 4 months later, on my birthday, when I was living with Jim in Singapore, Jesus and Gautama Buddha appeared in my room at 3 a.m. They said that they would be protecting me all of my life because I'd be having a somewhat dangerous life, and that is true, and that I'd be eventually trained to become a world teacher and healer. Then they left, and Satya Sai Baba appeared, shining brilliant white rays of love light from his heart. He smiled and said, I am Satya Sai Baba, Mother, Father of Truth. I am the one you have searched for throughout Asia. I am the one that appeared to you in a vision a year ago. Bring your husband and come to India to see me. I will heal you. I had just been diagnosed that day with a brain tumor, by the way. I love you. Well, we went immediately, and then the true adventure began. Now, Jim is going to show you some gifts or artifacts that the Mahayana Buddhist monks gave to me as I visited the monastery. This one is a copper ancient antique medicine spoon, and this is a meditation bell. Now, we just had a very woo-woo experience right before the program. As I picked up the bell from the desk, all of a sudden it went bong, but there's no clapper in the bell. I removed the clapper several years ago. There's no way it could have made a sound like that because there's nothing to sound against the rim. All right, now Jim is going to review the program highlights and what we said that we would teach and what we did.
So, we went over the November clearing results and understanding what God's grace is, what the importance is of changing energy, something that you can do every day, mastering Raymond Grace's problem package and some of the kinds of negative energy that you can get rid of, just as examples. There are many, many more. Preventing blowback from others, assuring successful presentations and performances in advance, practicing places to clear, converting clearing into a service or an income stream, some all-purpose healing tools, and of course some teaching stories.
And I would say too that once you master clearing, that you could clear all kinds of places such as clinics, churches, restaurants, college dorms, rental properties, many, many places, and you could have various clients put you on retainer unless you're going to be using your skills as service, selfless service, or both. All right, now, we did tell teaching stories, and so we told the 9 November clearings. Now, I would like to mention that on 9/10, the day before 9/11, I was visiting my parents who lived in Northern Virginia near Washington, D.C. And on this particular trip, they asked me to stay over, to change my flight tickets and stay over a few extra days. Well, normally if they had done that, I would have been happy to do that. But there was something that told me, no, you must go to the airport early. You must leave this area. You must leave this area. Don't stay until tomorrow. As it turned out, the next day was 9/11, a very important day in American history. And if I had stayed, then I would have been trapped in the D.C. area and would have had to stay there for several more days because the flights in and out had been stopped. So this is a situation where somehow I knew that I must follow my guidance and depart. So this is important because when we don't follow our guidance, sometimes we regret it. Now then, we can also use a pendulum or many of our other dowsing types of abilities to give us the answer to a question. Should I go? Should I stay? Should I do this or that? Then we told you about the singer and the 16,000 intoxicated Russians and how Raymond Grace subsequently cleared the singer's venues before she even went there. We just told you about Christmas in India and also the lost years of Jesus where he spent them. In concluding, we thank you, beloved Lord, and your faithful helpers, the masters of light, or saints, east and west, and the angelic host. We thank each of you for joining us. And remember, you can watch any of these videos at any time and receive the grace, healing, and blessings of the Lord and the Masters. Our next gazing is planned for Saturday, January 7th at 2 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. In the meantime, practice clearing your home and your water daily and every destination point before you leave home. Know that you are loved by us, by the Lord, and by all the masters and angels. The time has arrived for which we have all incarnated. It's finally here. Be bold and be present to God's love and direction so that He can use you to remove the suffering of those people around you. Now you may meditate as long as you wish as the Masters continue to work on you. Farewell and keep your vibrations up, up, up.
We look forward to your being with us again on January 7th, 2023 at 2 p.m. our local Colorado time.